Hello again, race fans and Kyosho F1 car collectors. So I got another one of these little Lotus collection cars, and you'll see on the box it says 690 yen, which is like well under $7. Back in 2009 these were made. A whole bunch of different castings, each in 2 liveries. I think I may have half of these now. If I'm lucky, I'll actually get one of each eventually. Oh. I don't recall seeing this ever really in a box, but I think it's because maybe some people actually display their models in these blister packs. I guess. It takes up too much room for me. So this little card, obviously being in Japanese, isn't too helpful, but this car raced in the 1986 F1 Championship, and I don't know what else is going on there. And that doesn't really help us other than listing out the cars in the collection. Alright. So, I'll take this off the stand. Reading Wikipedia, this, like its predecessor, the 97, were designed by Gerard Ducarouge and Martin Ogilvy. I am most definitely not pronouncing those correctly, I apologize. And then this is one of the great powerhouses of F1 history. This thing is powered by a 1.5 liter Renault V6, but it's turbocharged. And the manufacturers at this time were just guessing how much power these engines made because the test benches weren't rated for such power ratings. So Wikipedia is saying this thing may have had up to 1,200 horsepower during qualifying. But this thing only weighs 540 kilos, which is like the weight of 2 like Harley Davidsons or like 3 sport bikes. So that's a lot of power. But it's also, this article is also saying that during racing they were running more around 900 horsepower for reliability. Could have been running either a 5-speed or a 6-speed transmission depending on the track and the driver's preferences. This particular one is driven by new to the team, a guy named Johnny Dumfries. So I guess the other livery, the number 12 car, is the Ayrton Senna car, like the photos I pulled up. Oh well. I didn't know this at the time. I just pick up these things when I can because they're pretty old. And sadly, you can also see some paint bubbling, perhaps. Maybe that's paint rash. That's too bad. It's bound to happen. Alright, so this last bit of info. Supposed to be some barge boards on this thing. Pretty early use of barge boards. And this thing also had a microcomputer about fuel consumption. It ran 16 races and won only 2 of them. So not a great F1 car by winning standards, but sure looks nice with this black and gold John Player Special livery. But I've noticed here it's replaced by Team Lotus Special because Kyosho is a company, doesn't sponsor or not sponsor, they don't promote tobacco use. And John Player Special, I guess, is an old tobacco company. I assume cigarettes. I've never even seen a pack of JPS. I don't even know if they're around because I don't smoke. Leave a comment if you do. Yeah, you can see the paint rashes all over. So that is too bad. Alright, well, we got the gold pinstriping, nicely done. All this gold here is paint. It's not a decal. You don't see any of the wrinkliness of a decal. Sadly, we do see the bubbling, though, of the paint rash. And then, just trying to focus in on this front nose. Yeah, I guess you can. You can read Renault there. Alright. And then that logo is fake, though. That's not the JPS logo. It just looks like it. Look at this gold stripe there going around. So here are those barge boards, right here, directing the wind away from the side pod. But some of it has to go through to the radiator. And that radiator vent is way in there. So very nice and realistic. You can see the black interior, a nice molded harness and its buckles, and back here in 86 they had round steering wheels, so that's pretty cool. You can even see they printed on both sides of the tires. That's really cool, really unexpected. So if like a tire was messed up, you could flip it around and it'll still match all the other ones, right? But Kyosho, yeah, they're pretty good with their tires. Look at the printing, it's round, it's not oval like a green light, or square like a green light. Okay, well, they even bothered to put a tampo print here on the plastic. This is part of the base, so I have no idea what Micromax is. There's a little ribbing here for that radiator. And then DeLonghi, they're still around. I think they make home appliances. Alright, this roll hoop here is painted silver. I have to assume that's probably plastic being so thin. Yeah, so that fake thing, but I guess it's better to have a fake Team Lotus special than just nothing at all. I'd rather see that than just black. You'll notice this gold stripe stops here, and that's actually matching the photographs. And then it picks up again around there. Renault, right, turbo. Printing on the side looks pretty good. Printing on the top looks pretty good. And I really like that the two gold stripes are actually wrapping around the whole back here. It seems like it's a separate process because there's a little bit of black here and a little bit of overlap there. Alright, yeah, and then if you're curious, if you actually want to abuse a nice model like this, it'll roll down a Hot Wheels track. I'm not sure if it'll fit a Hot Wheels track. Yeah, it probably would. So the nice staggered slick tires, and then the base, you know, is plastic. It's press fit in, and then it does tell you the scale, the car, and the brand that made it, so that everything I want to know. Yeah, I like how there's air passing around between the suspension arms. The diffuser is curving up quite a bit, and then we can see some differential detail there. This looks like it could be plastic here, but the rear suspension is also airy, not blanked off. They do have to run axle ends like a Hot Wheels though, because I think the front wheels are just too narrow to have enough plastic grab onto an axle. In fact, I'm curious. I 3D print my own wheels a lot. Yeah, this is 4 millimeters. The wheel's less than that. The wheel might be 3.5 millimeters. But if it's inset, there's only 2 millimeters of plastic capable of holding an axle end. So it's just not happening. I just don't see a way around it. So that's unfortunate, but at least they painted or maybe coated the axle black. It's not as obnoxious as like a chrome axle. I do like that the base is sticking out past the body, so that's pretty cool. And then it's got these little ducts, but they're blanked off part of the metal casting, it looks like. Okay. Alright, so here's the older Lotus 72E. This ran between 73 and 75, a much smaller F1 car. Mini GT has put out this Lotus 78 from 1977. And then also back by Kyosho, this is the Lotus 97T. So this is the predecessor, the year beforehand. And a more modern one, this is Tarmac Works / IXO models, the McLaren 35M. Now you'll notice here, look how the suspension is all filled in. It's because it's diecast metal. They had to do that. So I don't know why they wouldn't just use a plastic there when this base is already plastic, right? This is all plastic too, this wing. So why wouldn't they just make all this stuff plastic, you know, and have it hollowed out? It's very strange. So yeah, IXO, you should be ashamed of yourself, because if Kyosho can make a more realistic model over 10 years ago and charge less than $5, what's up? I'm not a nice reviewer. I don't really care if anyone sends me free models. It's only happened once by Micro Turbo, so please go buy Micro Turbos. But yeah, I just want to get nice models, and I feel Kyosho is nicer, even though they're not around. It's a real shame Kyosho doesn't care about 164. The company exists, they just don't put out new collections in 164. Alright, well, a little paint bubbling going on this guy, but it is 12, 13 years old. No, 14 years old, I guess. So maybe that's to be expected. But the other ones, the other two I showed, didn't have any paint rash. So it's just luck, I guess. You know, how it's stored, where whoever stored this where. Maybe it was humid or something there. So if I'm lucky, I'll be able to get one of each of these castings. I like Lotus as a car company, and I definitely like this black and gold pinstriping livery. Even though it's smoke tobacco, I like their marketing department. Alright, see you guys. See you in the next F1 car.